With patch 3.23 launched for Star Citizen, it's back to the beginning for a few things, most notably bank balance. Add in some scanning changes and there's more reason there has been for a while to try out a bit of patch 3.23 mining. I'm Forrester, and this gameplay video shows the first couple of mining outings in a prospector and selling up at the end. Some parts have been sped up to keep the overall length of the video down, and those parts are clearly marked as such. But without adding too much more, let's get started. And we are starting at full speed as we spawn in the prospector, start her up, and head out to our first mining destination. This is going to be the moon of Yella. There's no special planning has gone into this, save for the fact that I happened to be on Seraphim with my prospector, so I figured for the first couple of trips out, I'll just grab what I can find within reason. As you can see, the prospector in fully stock configuration here. And head back down to the surface of the moon. So obviously the big change for mining in 3.23 is linked to master modes as well as some of the scanning changes, but despite those changes, managed to find a set of rocks on the way down to the moon that warrants further investigation. So switch to SCM and then into mining mode. And this very first rock has got some hephaestonite in there. Hephaestonite is a pretty profitable little rock, worth grabbing, I think. It's a very good omen when the first time you go out mining in a set patch, you immediately find something that is worth some money. A very good omen. So this time we're going to start doing some rock breaking. And one of the nice things that I've got going for me in patch 3.23 is I've got a new control setup, and that involves a dedicated lever for mining laser intensity, which is taking a little bit of getting used to, but already makes it feel much more natural. I feel like I have much more control over it than I did when I was using the mouse wheel. Broken up the first rock, and then we'll look for the good stuff. So within this, the hephaestonite is definitely the most profitable rock, at least in this rock that we've broken here. There is some titanium as well. Titanium is not awful. I would certainly fill up on titanium if I was just trying to fill up the last little bit of cargo rather than go and find a new rock, but the hephaestonite is the stuff that's really of note. Incidentally, you may be wondering why the prospector? Why have you not taken out the Argo mole? Well, the prospector I find is a much more comfortable solo mining experience, at least for me. There's no moving between chairs, there's no worrying about how you've got the ship positioned. It's very much a case of everything from the one seat. Arguably, the mole does a lot better in terms of the number of SCUs of cargo that it can carry of raw ore. But for me, I'm not necessarily doing this to make the most alpha UEC per hour. There might be other options that would do better. I'm doing this as a way to spend an hour and have some fun and do some mining. So the prospector for me is great for that. Another rock here to break, and we've got Taranite in here, and once again Taranite will do just fine, assuming this rock is breakable, of course. We'll creep forward to that optimal range on the top left. Yeah, at optimal range that's going to break. I suppose it does say on the right hand side hard, as in the difficulty of the rock. So this prospector is completely stock at this point, so I've not changed the mining head, I've not added any consumables, I don't even have any gadgets on my back. I think the first few days of a patch you're always quite stingy with your credits and you don't want to spend things unnecessarily, so very much stock. But for breaking just smaller rocks and filling up and grabbing a bit of ore, you can do that with a prospector without any changes. It's absolutely fine. You will have to accept that you'll come across rocks that you can't break, but I think that's been true for the prospector for quite some time now, that you'll regularly run into rocks that are much more suited to the mole than your prospector, even if you have changed and mended things. So nevertheless, the stock prospector has held its own and managed to break up this rock. So what I'm really looking for from this one is, in particular, the Terranite. That's the good stuff. And I am noticing that we're getting a lot of excess titanium, so I know if I get a decent amount of Terranite from this, I can probably just fill up the rest with titanium and head out. Now there was a lot of inert in that rock, but for the Terranite I was comfortable with that level, because I'm thinking with all the other rocks I've got here, I've probably got enough to fill up the prospector. And if that's the case, I want the good stuff, and then we'll get out. See, we're more than halfway full of the prospector now. I don't really want to be flying off to find some other rocks. I can fill up with this one, and then we'll come back for a second trip. And at this point, I think it's probably worth just grabbing that titanium. Check out what this rock was that flew down. There's some Terranite in there, I'll have that. I should point out, if you see the trigger sticking a little bit, it's this server is not the most responsive of servers, so sometimes that trigger is sticking. It was a weird one because it's not unresponsive. Like, once you're actually mining, quite a lot of the time it's fine, but then it will just stick for no reason. Can't explain it. Some fastenite on there. So we're nearly full, 1.5 SCUs more of cargo capacity. So we'll just grab that titanium. Storage full, easy as that. Nice view of Crusader there. So we'll kick it into quantum travel and then head to the refinery to dump this first lot. So actually that was a pretty quick mining trip. So horrible sometimes trying to find Crew L1 station. Like, it just gets lost in between all these mining claims. Still getting used to this new star map. There it is, there it is. Right, route is set. We're in flight mode at the moment. Then over to quantum. But yes, that was a pretty quick mining trip, straight down to the surface of the moon, filled up relatively quickly, didn't find anything that we couldn't break. So a couple of trips like that should be good for the bank balance. It wasn't the most profitable. I wasn't only seeking out like high value materials. We've got some titanium on here, which It'll sell. It won't sell for anywhere near as much as the Terranite or Hephaestonite. A nice view there of the Prospector heading over to the refinery. But sometimes the joy of mining is in the gameplay loop itself, of actually breaking the rocks, harvesting the rocks, and then bring them up to refine, rather than spending a long time searching for the perfect rock. So both have their place, but for this trip it was just a case of breaking some rocks. So onto the station, stock up on food and drink, and then over to refine the first lot. So I've talked quite a lot on previous mining tutorials about how I decide which mining method to use. For this one I have opted for the Ferron exchange. It's much quicker than the Dinnick solvenation that I would usually use. Even though it says low speed, it's actually pretty fast. I'm a little bit worried about this toggle button for the Hephaestonite. I think it's okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, well it's just the titanium that's toggled off, so I'm happy to take that risk. But yeah, the Ferron exchange is my, if I'd like to pick up the goods within a reasonable time frame, that's the one that I use. If I know that I can leave it there for a few days and I'm not worried about a patch coming along and maybe disrupting things, then I'll use the Dinnick solvenation then. But I think at this point there was an imminent patch due, so I stuck with the safer bet. So we'll go back to Crusader. We'll head to one of the moons. We'll head to Selin. We'll head down to the surface of Selin to do some mining down here. Nice view there of the Prospector approaching the moon. And then back up to 12 speed to head down to the surface and find the next rock to start breaking up. Found something that's worthy of investigation. It actually looks like a few scattered rocks, some of which may be able to grab straight away, including more Hephaestonite. This feels like a very lucky find for the first set of rocks, once again. Now, Hephaestonite is not the most profitable. It's not anywhere near the Quantanium or necessarily the gold, but it's pretty good. It depends on what you're looking for, whether you're really looking to fill up... Oh, here's some gold. Whether you're looking to fill up with only the most profitable, or if time is more important to you. It should be breakable. It's called Easy on the right hand side. Still takes a little bit of time to break up, but the gold inside will be worth it. Slightly over-egged it a little bit there on the power, but should still be okay. And then just feathering the laser. Keep it in the green zone. I think that was fine. Didn't even see anything on the shields. So anything with a gold in at this point I am definitely going to grab. Including this bit. Definitely this bit. So I've been doing, I think probably like a lot of people, I've been doing a lot of salvage as my peaceful gameplay loop at the moment, and actually getting back into mining has been really quite enjoyable. It's something a little different. It feels a lot more active than the salvage side of things, but as a little bit of variety, it's quite a nice difference. I've been enjoying it. You have to let me know in the comments if you've been out mining recently and what your thoughts are on, I guess, the state of mining in patch 3.23. Just a shame that scanning the rock takes so long. Like, you're sat there for a few seconds just working out what's in there. I think I'd be quite happier if that was, maybe hovering over for 1 second or something like that. Feels like it's maybe nearer 5 seconds at the moment. Okay, well, the game says this rock, which has Terranite in it, which I like, is impossible. I think it might be right with the way that I've got my prospect set up, but the only way to be sure is to fire up the laser and give it a try. I'm happy to accept that that one was indeed impossible. There's lots of Terranite in this one. I'm gonna give it a go. It also says impossible. I am thinking it might be right. Yep, I'll let you off. I'll let you off, rock. I mean, this prospector is halfway full of cargo already, so we just need to find something to get that last little bit. Titanium in there. Some of the rocks look like rocks, even though they're not rocks. Oh, there's a bit of Hephaestonite in there. We'll grab that. The laser was far more powerful than I was expecting. So this entire thing is 10 SCUs worth. About a third of it is Hephaestonite. So that's 3 or 4 SCUs. So if I can get a decent split, that would certainly be a welcome addition to my cargo hold. Well, I am going to get some inert with this one, but I think that's okay. At this point, I might as well grab the titanium because I'm not going to be going and looking for another set of rocks. I think I'll want to fill up and then head to refine. So if it's 100% titanium, that's fine. Load it up, we'll sell it. Bit more Hephaestonite. We can get the laser to attach. Some titanium. More titanium. We've got another 10 SCUs or so of cargo available. Oh, 2.3 of Hephaestonite, that'll do. There we go. So that leaves me 8 SCUs of cargo to fill up. So there was this rock over here which was a big chunk of titanium. May as well break that, load up and go refine, I think. I wonder if some of you who mine perhaps more than I do these days are very offended by my filling the cargo bay with titanium. I know it's not the most profitable way to do things, but that's not necessarily why I'm out here mining. Just looking to enjoy a little hour away doing something a bit different, sipping a cup of coffee. So you can let me know in the comments if this titanium is really grating on you, or you can let me know if, hey, it's fine, I'd have done the same thing, fill up the cargo, get back to refine. Spend most of the time just scanning rocks, I think. There we go, cargo full. Cargo full. I mean, it is mostly titanium. I've got 21 SCUs of titanium, a bit of hephaesonite, a bit of gold. Nice view of the Prospector departing there. So we'll head back to the refinery at Crew L1. So I know that I've sped up big chunks of this footage to make it a little bit more digestible on YouTube. But overall, if you're interested, it was about 48 minutes from end to end of doing those 2 Prospector runs and bringing them back to the refinery. So 48 minutes of actual mining and refining. And then obviously we've got a little bit of time to add to sell, which we'll work through. As we try desperately to get the console to work. This is like the stickiness of the server that I was talking about. It's generally been okay, but then it'll do something like this where it just sticks. Star Citizen Alpha. So once again, I'm going to do my Farron exchange. 8 hours. Work order accepted. So it was 48 minutes of mining and refining. Then through the magic of video editing, come back later to pick up those completed work orders. Load them up onto the C1 Spirit, which is a nice cargo ship for small 2 hauls of mining like this. I do like my C1. So the total amount of time it took to load up the cargo on board, inspect it in the hold as you walk past, enjoying that delicious cargo, and then heading across to sell it was another 16 minutes. So all in all, it was an hour and 4 minutes to do all of the mining and then all of the selling. So let's call it an hour's worth of work. I don't know if work is the right phrase because I really enjoyed my mining trip, but about an hour. We'll see what we make as we go into sell. There's always a lot of flying around, I find, the August Dunlow spaceport while you work out where exactly they've given you to land. Doesn't seem so bad in ×12 speed though. Hop aboard the shuttle. Now, no, Orison isn't really that popular a selling location for many people. I go to Lawville or Microtech. And here we are, selling up. So 35k of hephaesonite, 29k of gold, just 14k of titanium, and 46k of the terranite. So the total 112k. So 112k in an hour. Not bad. Hopefully you found it interesting to see the first steps of mining in a new patch. If so, you might press the like button to let me know I should make more like this, and if you're not yet subscribed, given that you've got this far, you probably want to do that too, so that YouTube will know to show you more videos like this in future. Otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.